Welcome to the Man Up and Own It podcast, where we are here dedicated to talk about situations and experiences that men are facing on a day-to-day basis, dealing with uncomfortable issues, and how that we as men can improve our lives to be able to handle those issues in a more appropriate manner to create the success that we've always been dreaming of. And I am joined here with my lovely wife of 13 years to interview me for the first episode on how we can improve our lives and what it is that my life has been like.
All right. I'm so excited that we're finally getting to do this. Our first time doing a podcast, and I'm going to interview you. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. These may be a little tricky for you to answer. Some of them are going to be rapid fire. Some of them are going to be like you're going to spit it out and just say whatever comes first to your mind. The other ones, we're going to dive into you and what you do as a business owner and how you help your clients be successful and have some big guns just like you. Like,
yeah. So it's just like when we're at home and you're asking me 21 questions.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. This should be easy.
All right. Are you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right. First question. Tell me a little bit about you and why did you decide to do a podcast?
Well, I am 38 years old. I have lived a very interesting life. I grew up out in the middle of nowhere and didn't have a whole lot of interactions with opportunities. In fact, I went to a one high school town. I lived in this desolate area where the next closest town was an hour away. Mm-hmm. And the only opportunities that I saw for myself was to either work at Walmart or work at a beef packing plant. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I was a manager at both of them. I was a successful manager that helped me understand how to interact with people. But I started to learn that people need to be recognized. People need positive role models in their life. They need things going on so they can feel value in themselves and being recognized for the things that they do. So what made me want to start this podcast was setting examples for men on what it is that success actually looks like and not what the media portrays it as, like dating models and having large money and not being at home, setting the example and the standard for their families.
Mm-hmm. I like that answer. I like it. So you are going to show guys what to do and how to do it well.
Absolutely.
All right. I like it. Next question. And I do have my phone because I will tend to forget these questions. So next question. When you have an ideal client, you're working with clients, what are some of the tips that you use for nonverbal communication?
So nonverbal communication is what we see. So like when you roll up to a stop sign, you know that it means to stop. We've been taught that. Well, as human beings, we see people and we make judgment calls off of them based off of what we see before what we hear. So I make an emphasis on nonverbal communication and their image. How do they represent themselves? How do they present themselves? And if they're overweight, then that is an indicator to others that they don't respect themselves or take care of themselves, so others shouldn't necessarily respect them or take care of them in the manner that they would like. So the first thing that I do is I teach is take care of your body, exercise, eat healthy. And then the next thing is, how do we dress? How do we represent ourselves by the message that we're sending to others with the clothing that we're wearing? Is your clothing wrinkled? Is it put together? Does it match? Or does it look like you just rolled out of bed and you don't care? Because if it looks like you don't care, then you're telling everybody else that I don't care.
I like it. So how long does it take you in the morning to get dressed? Or do you pre-plan? Because I have found that when I have an event like today was the first time I got dressed on one outfit, okay? So I picked it out, was like, took a picture, sent it, and I was like, all right, this is what we're going for. But other times, I tend to try on 5 different outfits, and then I get frustrated. So How does that work? How do you do it? What's one tip?
So one tip, I think you just said it yourself, is you pre-plan.
Okay.
If I know that I've got a speaking engagement, I understand what that speaking engagement is, who my target market is, and I dress accordingly to the message that I want to send. So if it's to business owners, telling them that to be a better leader, then you have to present yourself as a leader for that scenario. Then I'm dressed in a suit or my vest and my tie and my slacks. If I'm going to a casual event, then it's a t-shirt and probably my jean jacket or something that's a little bit more casual. Now, I do have a book that is laid out for the different events, for the different types of clothing that you would wear for the scenario to make it easier.
Okay. So you have the book. So is this book available for everybody to buy, or is it just for your clients?
Currently, right now, it's just for the clients, but we're in the process of developing another book for everyone to purchase.
Oh, okay. All right, look at you writing a book and everything. All right. So let's continue on with these conversations. And I like the fashion side, so I'm going to continue with the fashion questions. So what are some common fashion and grooming tips that you have?
Well, the first would be is if you got a beard, take care of it. If you got some scraggly beard just because like you wanted to grow a beard because that's the manly thing to do right now, then at least take care of it. Brush it, wash it, put some oil in it. I mean, I don't have a beard, so I can't tell you how to go about it, but there's a lot of people out there that can. Another
You have
thing,
a little bit. You have like a 5 o'clock shadow.
yeah, you know, I got to do something to keep my baby face down. I wouldn't want to look like I'm super young.
Why not?
Well,
You want to
know,
look like you're 20.
Yeah,
I'm like 18.
yeah, sure. You're telling yourself that. Another thing that I would tell for the grooming tips is take a shower. Be proud of your hygiene. Put on deodorant. Understand the value of fragrances. Cologne is a powerful tool that can be utilized to help influence people to feel a certain way about you. I know you like smells.
I do. Look, smell mine.
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
In fact, one of my favorite smells right now, or colognes, I should say, is the Valentino line.
Ooh, that is a good one. Yes.
It is, right?
Female and males. Yes, I love that one. All right. So tell me about the blueprint, because we have several clients. And so tell me a little bit about the blueprint and why your clients are loving it so much.
All right, so the blueprint, it encases the 4 pillars of personal growth. That is nutrition, personal training, visual influence, and mental health. Now, we start with nutrition because that's the fuel that we give to our body that dictates the energy and our body composition. So if you're eating a bunch of food that's messing with your blood sugar, it's going to bring you up and crash you, and you're not going to be able to focus like you should. And it's also going to put on some extra body weight that may not be appealing to your potential mate. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to have those extra pounds.
Now, personal training is when we go into the gym and we develop muscle tissue to create a specific look.
Okay.
Now, it's also beneficial to help alleviate like aches and pains. So if you're an individual that sits all the time and you have lower back problems, then we do some training to help stabilize the body so we can eliminate those pains. But our objective is to create a visual influence to create respect in any room that you enter, because it shows that you take care of yourself. Now, how can we do that? We can make your shoulders a little bit wider. We can
go poof?
Absolutely. Go poof. Because when you walk in a room for a man, you want to have the upside down triangle. You want to look like you have wide shoulders, narrow waist, and thick legs.
Okay.
Then we get into the visual influence part, which is the clothes that you choose to wear and the body language that you exude to others. So do you stand up straight?
Let me get, I was too comfortable in here.
Yeah.
I was like,
Do you wear clothes that represent who you are as a person? Or do you show up wrinkly?
No wrinkles.
Because you don't want to be a wrinkly person.
We don't want to be wrinkly.
No. And then once we're commanding the respect that we want in any room we enter, we use all of the things that you have done to prove that you are capable, to reinforce your mental health into proving that you are capable of overcoming difficult circumstances, that you are having the ability to stand up to the test of times and overcome adversity.
Great question. All right. So all this is included in your blueprint program.
Yes,
that is
ma'am.
3 months. All right. Do you collaborate with other professionals?
Absolutely. I love collaboration because in reality, the world wasn't built by one man. It took multiple people to come together to create the greatness that we all live in right now. So collaboration is one of the things that I enjoy the most because I get to see people at their best doing the things that they're great about. One of the things that I grew up that made me successful in anything that I ever did was I understood the value of others. I understood that I can't know everything, but I can sure know a whole lot of people. Mm-hmm. So just like here, we're in a podcast studio that's being ran by somebody else, and he is giving me the opportunity to have a platform for my voice so I can potentially help other men. And what you're going to find in this podcast is we're going to bring in other men and we're going to collaborate with them to help send a message to other men that they can be successful too. And maybe they'll find a little bit of information in this that will change their life so they can create the success that they've always dreamed of.
Okay. So you have a group of guys that you collaborate with. What is it that inspire you to work with them?
What inspires me to work with other men? Well, I like to get to know people. I like to see the greatness in others. And I also like to probe people, I guess.
Okay.
What makes me want to work with them is their mindset.
Okay.
Now, I make a judgment call based off of what I see initially. How they take care of their bodies, how they dress, how they represent themselves. And then that gives me the initial understanding, is this someone that has potential for a quality collaboration, or what I like to call a power partner?
Okay.
All right. So then I engage in the conversation and I find out things about them, who they are, what they represent, what their mission in life is, or what I like to deem is, who do you want to be known for at your funeral? When you die, what do you want people to be saying about you as the individual that you were? And when they can articulate that to me, it gives me a better understanding of, is this someone that I can collaborate with that will help me in my mission to create better communities by creating better men that set a better example and a higher standard of living for their families?
You mentioned that a lot, and I know that you tell this to your clients and people that you come across, is what do you want to be known for, or what do you want people to say at your funeral? So tell me a little bit more about that, and how can someone that is listening to you today go and write that down? What are you looking for?
So what I'm looking for in that thought process is, it isn't caring about what other people are saying about you. It's what do you want people to say about you? Now, I understand, and you should understand, and everyone should understand, is we can't control what people say about us, but what we can do is control the actions that we take. Mm-hmm. And for us to have an understanding of what we want people to say about us, then we can create the actions that we need to take to have that thought process for people to think about us. So for me, I want people to think that I care about them, that I want to see the best versions of them. Mm-hmm. And so I go out and I try to help other people. One of the ways that I try to enact kindness in the most simplest form is I hold the door open for people.
Okay.
And even if they tell me, oh, you don't have to do that, I acknowledge that. You're right. I don't have to do that, but I'm choosing to do that because you're worth it. And you should see the smile on their faces, because all of a sudden they feel valued, they feel seen, and they feel heard. And so that is an example of the person that I want to be known for is someone that cares about others.
Absolutely. And I think that creates a chain reaction, right? When you open the door, other people see you, and naturally they're going to hold the door open at a later time. Maybe not right then and there, but later they're going to hold the door open for someone else. And they're going to think, oh, he held a door, I should hold a door too.
Absolutely.
What about when you're writing it down? Because you want people to write it down. So
the reason why that we write stuff down is if I'm talking to myself, I have this verbal communication with myself, my mind, my identity has a way of rationalizing out the things that are happening.
Okay.
So when I write something down, I can use my logic to read it and to find the opportunity in it.
Okay.
So the other reason that we write stuff out is then I can go back and I can look at where can I add more detail to it. I believe that when we can create the most detail possible for an idea, it helps us be able to fabricate it into real life. So if it's very vague, then the likelihood for us to be able to manufacture that into reality is very slim. But the more details that we can be about it, the more defined that we can be, the more realistic it becomes to create that reality.
So this is a work in progress. So it's not a once it's done, you don't ever look at it again. You can come back and refine it and...
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's just like any of the other things that we deal with in our life. Food, for example. One of the things that I do with my clients with their food is I don't give them this rigid food diet, this thing that they got to follow. We look at their habits. What do you do on a normal basis already? And then we start looking at the opportunities that are there, and they do it, and then they write about it. How did it make me feel? 30 minutes later. Okay, well, I ate potatoes, and I felt really tired after I ate them. Okay, so now we got a little bit better idea about these potatoes. They might make you tired. Is this going to reoccur later? Well, if you're journaling it, if you're writing these things down in detail, then we can go back and assess it. Yes, it might take a little bit of time and effort, but that time and effort shows up in other parts of our life. If we're not doing the little things and doing them the best that we can, then why do we believe that the big things that we want to do are going to happen in great detail and happen the way we want to? Because we're not doing the little things the way we want to.
I agree with you. And I think writing it down helps you because, one, you're writing it down so you're visually seeing it, but then you have a record to come back to. I know you and I did this years ago where we cut out dairy, and that was a huge, because we used to eat enchiladas, all Mexican food has has cheese. And
just got to say her enchiladas are amazing. And that's the reason, one of the biggest reasons why I married her. She made a lot of enchiladas to win me over. When they say women win men's heart through their stomachs, they're not lying, because that's how this one got me.
They are pretty bomb, I have to say.
Yeah.
They are pretty bomb.
But you're right. The dairy, once we cut the dairy out, you noticed a huge change in your body.
Yeah, my arms, I used to have those little dots on my arms, and then my stomach, I wasn't feeling bloated. I feel like my skin got more clear, my hair. I think everything shifted after we cut out dairy. So now we look for things that are dairy-free, right? And I feel like a lot of people may struggle with that same thing. But one, we don't know. We don't pay attention to our bodies. We're like, oh, I feel bloated. It's normal. That's not normal, right?
Right.
So we have to count, write it down, keep track, and then check back. And I think that's important because I don't feel like we're taught that in school or by our parents because they may not know, right?
No, and school doesn't teach us how to think. School teaches us how to regurgitate information. And that's great if you want to take a test, but if you want to survive in life, you got to think. And that's why it's important to establish groups of people that challenge you to be your best. And that's also another reason why I like collaborating with people.
Okay.
I like being surrounded by people that are successful, that are doing things that I want to be doing, and that are willing to hold me accountable to being the best version of myself. You know, I have a definition of a good friend and a great friend.
Ooh, okay. Tell me about great friends and good friends.
So a good friend is someone that knows what you want to do and supports you. They encourage you. They're like, hey, you should do that. That's great.
That's great.
No, a great friend is someone that does what a good friend does, but also holds you accountable to doing that and to being the best version of yourself. So let's just say that you and I got in a fight.
Ooh.
Yeah, spicy Latina. I'm going to have to be careful, right?
Yeah.
But it does happen. In any relationship, disagreements, arguments do happen. We have a difference in opinion. Okay. Now, in that situation, if I go at you and I do something that is inappropriate, maybe I yell at you, maybe I stomp my feet and act like a baby.
Oh, yeah, we don't like that.
And then I leave and I go tell one of my friends. Now, the determination of, is this a good friend or a great friend? A good friend will condone my poor behavior and sympathize with me. A great friend will hold me accountable to being the man that I want to be by telling me that you acted like a baby, you need to own your feelings, you need to get control over yourself, you need to take accountability and go apologize to your wife because you treated her like shit. And then they will be holding me accountable to being the man that I want to be and creating the success that I want. And in that moment, it's the success for my family. I want to be setting a good example. I want to be having a high standard of living. And that means controlling my emotions and communicating appropriately to the person that I say that I love the most.
That's a great friend. When they tell you that you're wrong and you need to apologize to your wife. That's a great friend. I like that.
Absolutely. And that's what we all need in our society right now is accountability for our own actions.
We do. I think sometimes we just let it pass, or we're wrapped up in our feelings and we're not listening. And when we're at that point, we're not going to listen to anyone else unless we know they come from a good point or that we trust them, right? And that's where our friends come in.
But how often is it that we allow our insecurities to dictate the outcome of a situation? If we're insecure, are you going to take constructive criticism appropriately?
No. You're going to shut down.
Absolutely. And you're going to project your feelings onto somebody else so you don't have to take responsibility. That's what we call overshadowing behavior, when we create a problem in somebody else because we know what triggers them and we get them to have an outburst. So then I don't have to take a responsibility for myself because now we're focused on the problem that you've created. And that's not only a disservice to you, but it's also a disservice to myself because then I don't get the opportunity to grow because I wasn't willing to face my insecurities and be accountable to being the person that I want to be.
Okay. I like it. So we are 5 minutes out, so we're going to do some rapid fire questions.
All right, let's do this.
All right. So what's your favorite color?
I really like black, blue, red. I like all the colors except the ones that make me look pale.
So don't use yellow.
No.
All right. So, this was rapid fire and you threw me off with that answer, but that was a great answer.
I'm like a machine gun.
Do you have a favorite brand?
Oh, man. I love Gucci. And the reason I love Gucci is because the amount of detail that they put into every piece. Now, I have recently just gotten outside of my comfort zone, and I've been buying some other brands. Another brand that I really like right now is this Christian Dior jean jacket. I found Balmain. is a great company. A lot of people don't like designer because they say it's overpriced, but in reality, you pay for what you get. So when you invest into yourself, you're more likely to see yourself at a higher value and take care of the stuff that you bought.
If you have one tip to give to someone to dress better, what would it be?
Buy clothes that fit you appropriately and send the message that you want. And if they don't fit quite right, get a good tailor, and that tailor can help you fit the clothes to your body.
What is one food that you would suggest to eat, to add in, or incorporate, or take out?
Eat more protein, eat less starch, carbs, and sugars.
Okay.
Protein, I like fishes and non-dense meat because it processes through the body a little bit easier.
Okay, next question. What can they start doing if they want to start journaling if they want to start journaling, what can they do?
One of the things that I've created a lot of success in for myself has been writing things down in future tense, like I got up on stage and I talked to thousands of people and it was a huge success. I impacted everyone there. They all stood up. They all got involved. And I talked about it like I have already created it. I've already done it. And it's helping me build the confidence that I need. So when that situation happens, it's like I've already done it.
Okay. All right. Last question. Describe your passion for your work in one word.
Describe my passion for my work in one word: empowering.
Empowering. Ooh. Okay, you have to tell me more. How do you empower others?
I help people build the confidence that's unbreakable in them by showing them that they can overcome difficulties. For example, if they can't believe in themselves that they could overcome a difficulty at work, I put them in an exercise that they might question. I help them get through it, and I prove to them that they can overcome something that they didn't do, and then I reassociate that immediately when they get out of the exercise to other things in their life that are causing them difficulties or that they might not believe that they can overcome.
Okay. I like it. Well, this has been amazing. Our first podcast, our first show episode. What is it? Show episode?
Yeah, it is what it is. It's the Man Up and Own It podcast, where we are here to help men establish the confidence that they need to create success in their life and be better examples for their family and set a higher standard of living so all of our communities can be the best that it could possibly be. Thank you, my love.
You're welcome. This is the Man Up and Own It. See you next time.